The 1941 college football season was one that's going to be remembered for a long time. America was on the brink of war. There were men of college age preparing for war, but nobody knew what the outcome was going to be. But we did play football, and we have the results coming up in just a moment.
This is the Pigskin Daily History Dispatch, a podcast that covers the anniversaries of American football events throughout history. Your host, Darren Hayes, is podcasting from America's North Shore to bring you the memories of the gridiron, one day at a time.
Hello, my football friends. This is Darren Hayes at pigskindispatch.com. Welcome once again to the Pig Pen, your portal to positive football history. And welcome to our Football History Rewind as we go through year by year of football. And we have the college football season 1941 as our topic tonight. Now, this season unfolded under a dark cloud. While teams across the nation battled for gridiron glory, the world was on the precipice of war. In fact, many areas in Europe and Asia were at war. America was not involved yet in September and October and November of 1941. And this essay and this expose delves into the season marked by exceptional players, thrilling matchups, and an uncertain future. Now, multiple teams rose above the rest in 1941, and the best may have been the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers. Minnesota, led by Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Bruce Smith, boasted an undefeated record of 8-0 and a suffocating defense directed by head coach Bernie Bierman. Now, the Gophers survived a competitive games against Washington in their opener. 14-6, they defeated the Huskies. They beat Michigan in the third game of the season by the score of 7-0. And Northwestern, they narrowly escaped a couple weeks later by the score of 8-7. Minnesota was ranked number 1 in the AP poll at the end of the regular season and was a unanimous choice for the retroactive selectors to be the nation's top team of 41. But there was other teams in contention as well. Now, Texas, under the guidance of legendary coach Dana X. Bible, also enjoyed a winning season with a potent offense led by All-Americans Malcolm Kutner at end, guard Shal Daniel, halfback Jack Crane, and Pete Layden at fullback. The Longhorns finished with an 8-1-1 campaign. Their sole setback was a 7-14 loss to TCU just before Thanksgiving. Now, many considered these two teams representing the Big Ten and the Southwest Conferences, respectively, as the top contenders going into the season. Still, they were not alone in the ranks of the best teams in the nation. Other contenders included the powerful Duke Blue Devils, who finished the regular season undefeated. They were under the legendary coach Wallace Wade and led his team in his 11th season with the program. We'll come back to them in just a moment. Now, also at the top of the AP poll, there was the ever-present powerhouse Notre Dame's Fighting Irish, under first-year head coach Frank Leahy's charge, who took the Irish to an 8-0-1 record as they outscored opponents by the score of 189-64. They had a rising star in quarterback Angelo Bertelli, who would eventually become a significant award winner just a few seasons later. The Irish stalemate was a 5-3-1 Army team at Yankee Stadium late in the season, which prevented ND from taking any claim of the mythical national title. Now, after the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor on December 7th, thrusting America into World War II, it depicts the notion. Now, the threat of the Japanese attack on the west coast of the United States, the government decided to ask the Rose Bowl Committee not to play in Pasadena, California because of the threat. By December 16th, Duke University invited the game in Oregon State to Duke's home in Durham, North Carolina. After all, the western sites such as Oregon were eliminated as locations for the Rose Bowl game to be played because of the threat of attack. Oregon accepted, and for the first time, the granddaddy of them all will be played in a place other than Pasadena, California. In a heated contest, the Beavers rallied to score 13 points in the third quarter. Duke responded with another touchdown in the fourth quarter to safely round up the score of Oregon 20, Duke 16. And those 16 points scored by the Beavers were the first ones on the Beavers' opponent, that the Blue Devils' opponents had scored all season long. Now, in other bowl games, in the Orange Bowl played in Miami, Florida, on January 1st, Alabama scored 37 to Boston College's 21. In New Orleans, the Sugar Bowl was played on January 1st. Tennessee 14, Tulsa 7. And in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas, it was Texas 14, Georgia Tech 7. The Sun Bowl was played in El Paso, Texas. The 2nd Air Force was 13, Hardin Simmons 7. The Heisman Trophy went to Bruce Smith of Minnesota. The Maxwell Award was halfback Bill Dudley of Virginia. The leading rusher was Frank Sinkwich of Georgia with 1,103 rushing yards that season. The passing leaders was Bud Schwenk of the University of Washington in St. Louis with 1,457 pass yards. And leading receiver was Hank Stanton of Arizona with 820 receiving yards. That top scorer was Bullet Bill Dudley with 134 points. Now, the events of December 7th, 1941, with Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor, forever altered the landscape in American life, including college athletics. Many players soon enlisted in the military, putting their football careers on hold. The nation's focus shifted from the gridiron to the battlefields abroad. The 1941 college football season, despite its outstanding talent and thrilling matchups, will be remembered as a season overshadowed by the looming World War. It also sort of ushered out the era of single platoon football, where players went both ways. The war would change that with the depletion, as we'll see in our next college season of 1942 in a couple weeks. But it also shifted from the single wing and double wing offenses and started into the T formations that really became up in post-war and became the popular brand of offense to be played. The legacy of 1941 college football season lies not in just the exceptional players and undefeated teams, but also in the context of the nation on the brink of war. It reminds us that the power of sports to bring people together, even during uncertain times, and 1941's college football season was a brief national pride in athletic excellence moments before the world stage took a dramatic turn, and especially in these United States. We hope you enjoyed this little bit of history looking back at the 1941 college football season. Hope you'll enjoy us again in some more great football history, including our Football History Rewind series, where the next part of this series will go to the 1941 professional season and how the war affected that and looming war. Have some interesting stories coming up in between there, including our New York Giants 100 celebration and more coming up just for you on the Pigskin Dispatch. So till next time, everybody, have a great gridiron day.
We're taking a peek over at the chains and the down marker. It's 4th and long. We're going to have to punt the ball and get on out of here, but we'll have another series tomorrow for your football history headlines, so be sure to tune in. We invite you to check out our website, pigskindispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. Pigskindispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. Special thanks to the talents of Mike and Gene Monroe, as well as Jason Neff for letting us use their music during our podcast. PigskinDispatch.com is a proud affiliate of the Sports History Network, the headquarters of sports yesteryear.